So this might be funny to you guys. This was funny to me. This was a meditation last night. So they want to make amends with the person that they pre-transitioned out. So me and my spirit, we were actually in a gravesite in the meditative state. And there were a lot of different spirits that were wanting to grab my attention. And the reason why they wanted to grab my attention is because most of the spirits that were there were spirits that were like their pre-transitions have went unanswered, or people stop looking into their case, their reports, things of that nature. So there were more so like lost souls looking for some form of like redemption, for what has transpired to them. So as they kept coming up to me, I did listen to what they had to say, and they were very, very, very adamant in regards to what individuals have done towards them in regards to them pre-transitioning out prematurely. So they're seeking revenge, and they won't stop. I heard loud and clear in my meditative state, this was a message for the karmics, is that these individuals that y'all did pre-transition out prematurely, they're not going to stop coming for you. They're not going to stop coming for you. And they also stated that the hauntings are going to be even more extreme, or is going to heighten to the point where they're not going to be able to take this anymore, because some of these spirits are very disturbed because their voice was not being heard. So after the spirits told me that message, I went into another like state, and I saw a group of people crying, crying on their knees. Like, this group of people are really, really, really regretting everything that they have did towards you, and also more so towards the people that they pre-transitioned out prematurely. Hold on. Yes. They were on their knees, they were begging, they were pleading, they were praying. I mean, all night. Some of them doing like all night prayers. When they wake up, they'll do a prayer. When they sit down before they eat, they'll do a prayer. Like, they're really, really, really looking for some form of relief when it comes to these higher activity of spirits like being all around them, or the hauntings of what they've done to these individuals here. So the spirits that our voices are not being heard at the time, there are now, because I'm speaking up about it. They made it very clear to tell the karmics here that it's not going to end until they become one of them. It's not going to end until they become one of them. It's not going to end until they become one of them. It's not going to end until they become one of them.
Hey, it's Patrician Lands and Regal, Chief Little Flower, coming at you from the fallacy of a private sanctuary, as I am being Truman showed, typically on the dark web, ever since COVID. At time of this recording, it is Tuesday, July 23rd, 2024. So, oh my goodness, so much time has been moving along since status post-COVID. For me, it was just like maybe 2 weeks ago, considering I've been heavily targeted ever since COVID. So, but, I'm going to talk about the people, the heel grabbers, the gang stalkers that are enlisted to do the footwork. So, like I mentioned before, each one of these PSYOP assignments are crimes against humanity. These are RICO crimes. These are felonies. These are hate crimes. And like I've mentioned before, that these people go get the organized part of the crime from their coach. these people are coached. And the coaches, these are your well-practiced murderers. Because at the end of every point of psyoping somebody is to create death. It's with malicious intent to destroy and kill. So, but when you look at these people on the outward, if you're looking for some strung out person to say, oh, that's the gang stalker, it may be, but they're not the only ones. So I encourage everybody, especially if you are agreeing to the awareness, if you are a rookie to the awareness, and if you're now just becoming enlightened to the awareness of all of this gang stalking because you've done your due diligence, you've gone to visit a targetedjustice.com monthly meeting in your state, and you've done your research and you were able to validate for yourself the authenticity of the presence of targeting of the individual. So now as you begin to evolve into a proactive, highly cerebrally equipped American citizen, and then you stop to consider, well, what does a gang stalker look like? Well, I'm going to tell you something. They're your neighbor. They're a churchgoer. They are your teachers. They are your medical professionals. There has been every vein of our country infiltrated by these duplicit, demoralizing individuals. So it is always a good idea to keep to yourself on a healthy, tempered balance of not telling too much of your business to anybody, because each one of these gang stalkers, they would sell you out in an instant to flip some coin, because they're opportunistic parasites that are the reason why our civil liberties are being eroded. So, but on the surface, they look just like every other family. With the exception that they put their kids right in diapers into the color coding clothes to identify themselves as a family unit out patrolling for the gang stalking initiative. So on the outward surface, they may look sunny side up, but if you were to scrutinize them a little bit more, you would see the bloodstains of all of the blood coin they've been flipping, and all of the horrific deeds of some of these families that are generational, that were born into it, status post World War II. And then there are the newbies that, couldn't wait to get in on the action, that are selling out their own bloodline for whatever psychotic reason. Because you also have to remember that the corruption upon corruption within the context of all of our governmental agencies is real. So just because a person actually presents in the computer with having some kind of criminal history does not mean they actually have the criminal history. That's how eroded and how duplicit to what our country has become. So just because somebody looks good on the outside doesn't mean that they're worth the shit on the inside, because on the down low, they're busy selling out who they can for some blood coins. So typically, when I look at a gang stalker, and I happen to know that they've been working the PSYOP assignment circuit, I know for damn sure that you're loco in the cabeza to even flip coin at the mercy of somebody else's distress, to flip coin off the expense of somebody else, to flip coin at the detriment of somebody else's expense with doing all of the PSYOP assignments. So their bullied into the ground by somebody else's underhanded antagonistic ways, I know that when I psychologically profile you, you're doing that to somebody in your house. You're doing it to somebody you work with. God forbid you have a managerial role or a supervisor role. I know for damn sure that you're causing a lot of detriment at the expense of somebody else just so you can earn blood coin off there. Sadness, their grief, their survival mode. So I caution everybody, just because a family may look sunny side up on the exterior doesn't mean that they're safe to be around. Doesn't mean they won't sell you out down the river. So be very judicious about who you reach out to lean on. I mean, because what if you're like a single parent and you're having trouble making ends meet, and then somebody tries to reel you in to the gang stalking circuit to lift you up, to help you out with that extra money, because that extra money is nothing but curses. So watch out for whoever comes to you with the with the deal of a lifetime, with an offer you just can't refuse. Because if you take that, you might as well be flushing down the toilets all of the hard work you've ever aggregated and accumulated over time. Because whenever that calling card flips the bill on your number, falling from grace is a long way down. So it would be better just to keep your nose clean and just move on. And ghost them. You can ghost them with respect. You don't have to be sanctimonious about it, but you can thank your lucky stars that you didn't give in to the temptation of somebody else luring you into the filthy gang stalking world of targeting anybody. Because again, all of the street workers that do that, they're the buffer. And which ones are the repeated serial murderers? Because there are people literally rolling over in their graves, getting back at the people who unalived them. And you have to sleep sometime. That's where my ancestors will come in and fuck you up. And, you can't really tell anybody about it, because who are you going to tell? When you're being haunted, when you're being Rochambeaued, having your nuts kicked in the ethereal realms because you were busy side jabbing an ancestor's baby in the physical 3D. So, watch out, America. You're going to see people going psychotic because they can't tell anybody that they're being hassled in the spirit because they've killed people. And those people are not going to give up until their offenders become one of them. Thank you to the AfroZen who had opened up the veil for us to learn what's going on. Another reason why mystics and seers are demonized, because they can tell the truth. And the offenders, like I said, the esoteric minded, that has been controlling society from the vantage point of hoarding the esoteric awareness for themselves while, energetically manipulating the quantum, spell work, just so that they can be the wealthy 1% off the detriment of others. That's coming to an end. So everybody who has kept it a secret from me what's going on in my timeline, well, you guys sleep sometime. I don't hate any one of you for it. Because I washed my hands of you and given you all over to the Most High and for karma to do the heavy lifting for me. And that's why I can pray. I hope you heal. I hope you come into a divinity of alignment and prosper that way. Never prosper in all of your wickedness. Because if you can hit reset, get right with yourself and serve the light, it's a win-win. But just because somebody doesn't want to pray for you, they have every right not to. They have every right not to. We're just all different places in our experience and our path. So don't think anybody owes any of you wretched, wicked workers of demonic ways are entitled to shit. I'm just different person on my pathway in evolution. But even then, you are still expected to eat your karma. But I'm more like a leg up because I'm just a different pathway in my journey. But don't expect every light worker to want to pray for shit when you've been pulling all of the wicked strings in the background, creating havoc, creating chaos, creating conflict for others, just so you can get a come-upping off somebody else's back of detrimental expense. So, America, just because somebody may come to you in a three-piece suit at the government doesn't mean they're not a whitewashed tomb Pharisee. You're going to have to use your intuition and your discernment when somebody comes to enlist you in a verbal lynch mob to engage you in slandering somebody because you were too ignoramus to figure out your own ethical morality lines instead of fall into the wicked snares of slandering somebody and then contributing to their hardships because you're still accountable whether or not you were lied to, because you are responsible for the entertainment that you allow into your own cerebral awareness. So don't be a suckerful. Don't be a lemming. Be a critical, independent thinker, because that matters. So again, thank you, AfroZen, for sharing with us how the other ones who have been taken out through wicked means, they're not happy. And they expect to hassle their tormentors and killers until they become expired in the physical 3D. I mean, if you really want out, why don't you tell the truth? And publicize what you did to try to make amends with their spirit, because that may be the only opportunity you might have, because God forbid you're met with the lynch mob with George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, and Paul Revere, David Crockett on the other side, because you squatted on their liberties that they provided for future generations just so an entitled bloke could come in and exploit what they had sacrificed for. They don't take too kindly to that. So consider being discerning to your own information, America, because no matter what, if you were lied to, duped into it, it's your own damn fault. So again, witchy witches, how's all that backfire spell work coming along? Are you having fun with multiple organ dysfunction syndrome? That's MODS. That's when your organs shut down. Each system at a time. And that's some fucking painful stuff. Thank you again, AfroZen, for sharing it with us. Because don't think you're going to be met with any ethical professional of ethical stature. Shit, they'll just take your morphine and document that gave it to you, and they kept it for themselves so they can either take or sell. I mean, that's what an opportunist does. And there's many targeters of individuals in the medical world. Shit, you can just pull up to a hospital and look at the layout of cars, for people that are aware. So unless you're inclined to tell the truth to help alleviate your pain and suffering, I say, well then, sayonara, my love. You get what you deserve.